So, again, good afternoon to all of you. Sige ra, okay ra. So, let's just watch this one muna while waiting for Sir Aljun.
Choosing which statistical test to use. There are many different tests you can use in statistics. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to know which is the correct test to use. This video includes 7 tests you are likely to use involving means, proportions and relationships. When you are trying to work out which is the most appropriate test, there are 3 questions you should ask. 1. What level of measurement was used for the data we are analysing? 2. How many samples do we have? 3. What is the purpose of our analysis? I will now explain each of these questions. 1. Data or level of measurement. Is our data nominal or interval ratio? Nominal data is also called categorical, qualitative or non-parametric. Examples of nominal data are colour, whether parts are defective or not, or preferred type of chocolate. Nominal summary values are usually stated as frequencies, proportions, or percentages.
Okay, Sir Aljun, naana ka diha? Hello? Sir Aljun? So, please just respond kung andyan ka na ha. Because we're waiting for you.
The tests that involve nominal data are test for a proportion, difference of two proportions, and chi-squared test for independence.
I want you to help me catch the most wanted.
Yes, Sir Aljun. Yes, Sir Aljun. Please unmute. Okay, so are you ready to start na with your report, Sir Aljun? Sir Aljun? Ready na ka mag-report?
Examples of interval ratio data.
Ready na ka mag-report, Sir Aljun? Asa na siya, Sir Aljun? Mag-report na ka? Okay, so pag-reply lang ha kung mag-report na ka, and for the meantime, to make use of the time, I will play the video presentation.
Daily sales figures for Choconutties, weight of peanuts, or temperature. The most common summary value for interval ratio data is a mean. Tests that involve interval ratio data are test for a mean, difference of two means independent samples, difference of two means paired, and regression analysis. For more help on levels of measurement, see our video, Types of Data, Nominal, Ordinal, Interval Ratio. Ordinal data can be classified with nominal or interval ratio depending on the circumstances. 2. Samples. Next, we ask how many samples are involved. Is there one sample for which we are testing the relevant statistic against a hypothesized value? Or are there two samples which are being compared with each other? Or is there one sample, but each observation has a measure or score for more than one variable? The same sample is measured twice. If we wish to compare a proportion or a mean against a given value, this will involve one sample. If we are comparing two different lots of people or things, such as men and women, or people from two different departments, then we would have two samples. If we have two sets of information on the same people or things, we would say we have one sample with two variables. An example is one set of days and information on how many chocolaties are sold and what the temperature was, or one set of people and information on their gender and preferred type of chocolate. Finally, we ask, what is the purpose of the analysis? We can be testing against a hypothesized value, comparing two statistics, or looking for a relationship. Chi-squared test for independence and regression are similar in that they are looking at the relationship between two variables. The difference between them is in the kind of data. If you would summarize the data in a table, we would use a chi-squared test for independence, whereas if you would put it on a scatter plot, you would use regression analysis. Here is an example for each of these tests. They relate back to our other videos teaching about hypothesis testing. After each description of the scenario, pause the video and see if you can identify the correct test before we tell you the answer. Helen is still selling chocolaties. Example 1. Sufficient nuts. Helen was concerned whether the quantity of nuts was sufficient in her chocolaties. She took a sample of 20 packets and found the weight of nuts in each packet. Pause the video. 1. Data. The weight was interval ratio data. 2. Samples. There was just one sample of 20 packets of chocolaties. 3. Purpose. Helen was comparing against a given value. Thus, the test she needs to use is test for a mean. Example 2. Prize tickets. In a promotional campaign, 20% of all packets of chocolaties should include tickets for free prizes. Helen takes a sample of 50 packets and finds that 7 of them have winning tickets. Pause the video. 1. Data. For each bar we are saying yes or no, depending on whether or not there is a ticket. This is nominal data from which we get a sample proportion of 7 out of 50 or 0.14. Samples. There is one sample of 50 packets. Purpose. Helen is comparing the sample value against a given value, 20%. We conclude that the test she needs to use is test for a proportion. Example 3. Bar longevity compared with Nutter bars. Helen thinks her chocolaties last longer than the competition Nutter bars. She gets 36 people to eat one of each and records their eating times. Pause now. 1. Data. Helen collects times taken in seconds, so this is interval ratio data. 2. Samples. There is one sample of 36 people, but with 2 scores for each person, the time for the chocolate and the time for the Nutter bar. 3. Purpose. She is looking at whether there is a difference in the amount of time taken for each of the bars. Thus, the test is difference of two means paired sample. Example 4. Defective wrapping from 2 wrapping machines. Helen thinks there is a difference in performance between the 2 chocolate wrapping machines in her factory. She checks 200 bars from one machine and 150 bars from the other. For each bar she is seeing if the wrapping is satisfactory or not. She finds that 10 out of 200 bars from the first machine and 9 out of 150 bars from the second machine are badly wrapped. Pause the video. Data. The information for each bar is OK or not OK. This is nominal data. It has been summarized as frequencies. 2. Samples. There are 2 independent samples, one sample from each of the 2 machines. 3. Purpose. Helen is comparing the proportions from the 2 samples. We can see that the test is difference of 2 proportions. Example 5. Do stickers help sales? Helen is exploring whether having free stickers makes a difference to sales. She has the sales figures for 13 days when she did offer free stickers and 10 days when she did not. Pause and decide on the test. Data. For each day, Helen has a number or value corresponding to the sales for that day. This is interval ratio data. It is summarised as a mean number of sales. 2. Samples. There are 2 samples, one sample for days with stickers and one sample for days without. 3. Purpose. Helen is comparing the average sales figures for the 2 treatments. We conclude that the test to use is difference of 2 means independent samples. Example 6. Are sales affected by temperature? Helen wants to see if there is a relationship between the daily temperature and sales of choconates. She has data on sales and temperature for 30 weekdays of sales. Pause. Data. Sales and temperature are both interval variables. Samples. There is one sample of 30 days with 2 measures or scores for each day. Purpose. Helen is interested in the relationship between sales and temperature. This leads us to decide that the test is regression. Example 7. Men and women and chocolate preference. Helen is thinking of selling dark chocolate, milk chocolate and white chocolate choconates. She thinks that men and women might have different preferences with regard to type. She collects data from 50 customers, noting down if they are men or women, and asking them which variety they prefer. Pause the video and decide. Data. Helen records the type of chocolate and sex of person. These are both nominal variables. Samples. There is one sample, the 50 customers, but with 2 measures or variables. Purpose. Helen is looking at whether there is a relationship between the 2 variables. Thus, the test is chi-squared test for independence. Those are 7 examples of the 7 tests outlined here. There are numerous other statistical tests and other things may need to be considered, but this summary will help you to understand what these 7 basic tests do and what to look for when deciding on which test to choose.
Okay, so I guess that's it about choosing which statistical test to use in your research. So again, there were wait lang. There were like considerations on which wait lang. So there are consideration on which type of research just or in terms of data, in terms of purpose, kung anong research type lang ang necessary, So wait lang ha. So again, skip ano. So again, i-replay lang na ako ha. In choosing your type of statistics, so you have to consider the type of data, diba? Unang-una. So whether is it a nominal number or is it interval or ratio? So, or it means quantitative siya na data, no? So, and after that, you're going to, if interval siya or ratio yung mga yung mga like mean age and so on, as have discussed. So ito yung mga na-discuss natin a while ago as shown in the video. And we can actually use different tests, whether they are nominal, ordinal, or interval or ratio. So like pwede ba siyang for comparison, so that's the data, diba? So and then for samples naman, kung ilang sample ang kailangan mo for in taking that data. And then after sa sample, what's next? Okay, now we have if you have your sample now, then the next is yung purpose niya, para saan ba i-compare ba natin, testing against or testing proportions or differences ba? And so you will know which of the statistic, whether regression analysis ba siya or chi-square test, no, ang gagamitin ninyo for that purpose. And after that, there are examples na binigay, no, in this video, no, o if which is appropriate in among these types of tests, no, whether test for proportion siya, differences, or test for a mean, no. So I guess yun lang yung ipinakita sa video during the presentation. And if you have questions or clarification, you may have your questions and clarification now. Anyone? Regarding ano ba dapat gagamitin mo? Like for example, but these are more or less pag nominal kasi quantitative data, no? So more or less they belong to quantitative data. So madali lang kasi din ang qualitative kasi you're just going to test for like percentage, no, yung mga graphs lang. So and alam niyo na yan kasi during the presentation you already have graphs presented, models presented. So yun lang naman ang mostly makikita natin for qualitative data. But when you are going to involve numbers and proportions, yung mga ratios, so medyo quantitative siya. So you need to use regression analysis, paired, no, mean or differences, or itong chi-square test. So do you have any questions or clarifications? We will know more for the next topic naman or discussion, but about I guess yung aking inano dito, wait lang. Nawala ata akong nga research. So I guess ang akong i-post doon sa ating group chat is more on ito. The next topic will be on how to use the correlation and regression, no, so this time ito yung ating discuss, no, kung ano ba dapat gamitin when with the kind of data, with the kind of sample, and the kind of purpose that we're going to have. And now if you choose na kailangan mo para i-compare yung mga treatments mo or data, so you need to use correlation and regression. And for the next topic, we're going to discuss this correlation and discussion. So for the meantime, do you have any questions or clarifications? Or any one of you who has an update for the yung special topics na report? Anyone? So anyway, if you have more questions and clarification, pwede naman pwede niyo namang i-chat sa group natin. And once ready na, kasi si Sir Aljun, no, wala pa kaka-report. So we will just wait for you to have your report on a special topic. And while waiting, we can continue with this statistical tools, no. And next time we're going to talk about how to make how to use the ano ibig sabihin ng correlation and regression and how to use this, and also paano natin gawin sa Excel yung linear regression. And aside from linear regression, meron din tayong kanang what do you call that? Meron din tayong multiple regression or forecasting future. Na to. Okay, wait lang ha. Topic for ano. Actually, naay naka-assign, Sir Aljun, naay naka-assign na topic, no, for this. And I don't know kung sino actually ang nag-discuss this one. So, special topic, no? Kasi naay naka-assign ani, pero until now, like this one, no, special topic. So, ito, i-click mo lang to, Sir Aljun. Kasi siguro walay mag-report ani, dili ko sure. Kasi until now wala pa ka nang nag special topic. Okay, so ito siya, no. Actually, like this is entitled Cost and Return Analysis of Small Scale Cacao Production in Camarines Sur, Philippines. So, ito pwede mo itong i-report, no? And I don't know kung may nagpili na nito, but you can you can have this as your report, or you can have another topic, no, which is still parang mga cost and return, or mga analysis, no, on different crops. So I guess yun lang. If you have questions or clarification, then I'm sorry if I have to end now. You can just chat me for questions and clarification, and hopefully any one of you will be ready for the next meeting. So I guess wala nang tanong about statistics. No, so we have mentioned already paano gamitin yung differences or regression, no, analysis. So but more on ano siya kasi kanang quantitative. As I have said, you are just going to use statistic kapag may quantitative yung research mo, no? You involves numbers, you involve yung ratios or values, but more on qualitative, which is yun talaga mga researches. These are just presented on graphs, figures, and I know no nakabalo na mo ana sa inyong Excel, but then we can still do that in Excel. We can still do actually a demonstration on that sa Excel if you want next meeting. But still next meeting, we're going to discuss yung regression and correlation. So I guess yun lang, and thank you very much for your attendance this afternoon, and hope to see you again next meeting. So I'm sorry I have to end the call now because I also have another meeting next time. So Sir Aljun, i-replyan talang ka later. So again, thank you, and goodbye everyone.